Hey everyone, this is Lenny here. So we're going to do something a little different and actually something really exciting, and we're going to discuss a film festival that's actually local around here. We're talking about the Millennial X program and the NUIT BLANCHE Film Festival that took place at Humber College on October 5th and 6th. I had plans to do reviews for some of the films that were screened there, but that's when my bronchitis just absolutely kicked my ass, so I never had a chance to really get into that. I did do the trailer reactions, and I do have to apologize to the organizers of Millennial X. I actually had things wrong in terms of who was organizing. I was under the impression that this was the Windsor International Black Film Festival, so the branding was off. I got that incorrect, so I apologize for that, and that's obviously something that we're going to fix. But what we are talking about here, this is the NUIT BLANCHE slate of films that were part of the Millennial X program. There was a good chunk of films that I think played for 12 hours during the days of October 5th and 6th. And the Millennial X program is a program for filmmakers of color that are over the age of 30 that want to take the next step of their career. So all of the movies that we're going to talk about have been created or conceived by individuals of color. Now, when people hear that, they think, oh, it's just black people. Well, that's not really the case, especially where I'm from in Canada. When I was growing up, people of color really meant anyone who wasn't white and really not the waspy white Anglo-Saxon Protestant kind of stereotype that we all kind of know. So, you know, there are people that are making films that are part of this program. They're not just black or Jamaican black or Haitian black or anything like that, but Asians, you know, whether they're Chinese or Japanese or Korean, East Indian, whether they're Hindi or Sikh, you know, obviously Latinos, Latinas. So these films are made by people of color, and the stories they tell are through those lens, and that's pretty much how they are going to engage the audience, by telling these stories based on their own experiences, based on how they feel about the world, being a person of color, things like that. And that's not necessarily means also that everything is going to be sour and dour and all talking about how terrible racism is and things like that. No, some movies that we have here are just fun, and they just happen to be made by people of color. And what I plan to do, this is going to be a major supercut, but I'm going to go through some of the films that I really enjoyed that were part of the NUIT BLANCHE Festival and just share my thoughts on why.
Bakit mo ginikisa yung garlic at onion together? You want to burn the garlic?
Okay, I don't like that line. Let's hold. I want to add a line.
So the first film that I really enjoyed was a short called Desync, and this was written and directed by Minerva Navaska. And this is just a short that concerns a filmmaker, a female Asian filmmaker, who is trying to recreate a particular moment that she had with her mother. They're trying to cook together, and the mother just seems to be very harsh on the daughter in terms of, you know, how to do things in the kitchen. And the daughter, you know, as the filmmaker, is trying to recreate that. So this film is edited in a way where we see both the actual events with the filmmaker and her mother, and then the actual fictionalized account where the filmmaker is trying to recreate everything. But I really enjoyed the story here, and I enjoyed, you know, this filmmaker telling this very personal story about the struggles that she has with her mother's and the generation gap in terms of, you know, you have someone who is a foreigner or an immigrant and you're like a first generation Canadian and trying to navigate through that. At the same time, not wanting to lose a piece of your own culture, and, you know, the frustrations that come when you try to engage, and then at sometimes it seems like the door is slammed in your face when all you're trying to do is just kind of embrace that, and at the same time just try to embrace the relationship that you have with your parents, and sometimes, you know, some of the blockades that come with that when you are dealing with certain cultures. And I really believe that Minerva Navaska really captured that. The acting, I thought, for this was actually really phenomenal. The actress that played the filmmaker, I thought she was really fantastic. She knew the assignment. She knew that she was playing someone that had a lot of layers to her character. And also, I really appreciated the editing, kind of going back and forth. You really got a sense of, what this filmmaker is trying to recreate. So we see everything that this filmmaker has been experiencing, both in the past with her mother, and then, going on set and trying to recreate and re-dramatize this particular moment, but trying to do it in a way that is perfect. She's trying to recreate the moment so it doesn't seem like there are all these flaws between her and her mother, but they're all there. And, it's obvious that this filmmaker is trying to tell a story about, familial bonds, maternal bonds, and just the struggles that we have in our own cultures. But I really did enjoy Descent. This was actually one of my favorites of the entire festival.
There's no easy way to look around and realize that the world as we know it is dying. People really don't want to deal with confronting the possibility that when they look out the window, everything they're looking at is temporary.
The next film that I really enjoyed was an animated short called Feeling the Apocalypse. This is directed by Chen Sing Yap and animated by Rowan Mikovic and Ruby Davis. And this is a short that is sort of done in an interesting documentary interview style. The filmmakers are interviewing a psychotherapist named Anderson Todd, who explains what is called climate anxiety. And this is, the anxiety one gets when they think about Earth and think about it, not being sustainable and livable and survivable, especially when we are living in an era where we have man-made climate change. We've had all of these insane hurricanes, for example, all of these crazy weather incidents going on around the world. And it does seem that a lot of it has to do with climate change. And Anderson Todd really gets to the heart of how he feels about what we as human beings are doing to the planet. And, it is the only one that we got. And, we are going down a dark path that we need to reverse, if it is reversible at all. When we talk about the polar caps melting, or we talk about warming in the ocean waters that make hurricanes even more deadly, this film really gets to the heart of that. And also the animation style, I think, is absolutely wonderful. It is this weird mix of like crayon and construction paper done kind of like in a crazy stop motion kind of way. The characters are drawn very crudely, but I think that's sort of done to sort of get the effect of kind of the way this world is off, the way that Anderson Todd is describing it. We see certain elements where the construction paper sort of rips itself apart to kind of give us the understanding of, a world that is falling apart or a world that's on fire. So I really feel like the animation really captured the climate anxiety that Anderson Todd is discussing. But this was just another great little film that, again, talks about something that is very important in terms of climate change. I really, really did have a lot of enjoyment with it.
Mom, you okay?
I'm fine.
Clearly, you've never done anything cool. You're so lame.
Is that so?
The next film I really liked, and this is also an animated film, it's called Karoka Inc. And this is directed by MC Cruz Isael. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And this is just another sweet little tale about a mother and daughter and their relationship and the cultural divide between them. But this one seems to be more a little bit about the bridging of those generational divides. We have a daughter who's getting a tattoo done and her mother is there with her. The mother is just basically explaining to her daughter, who doesn't think her mother's very fun at all, but her mother is like, when I was your age, we used to go to Sao Paulo in Brazil and we would go surfing. There was a group of us. I had a best friend. We would ride the waves until we couldn't ride them no more. And it was just a little sweet story of this mother telling her daughter about what it was like her age and all the bonds that she created before she would have migrated to Canada. And the animation style I really liked. It's almost like this chalkboard type of animation, and that animation style captures certain things very well. For example, like the water crashing on the beach. The animation style, that chalk animation style, really works for that. Also, when we're getting little things like the beach and just hearing the fun that the mother and her friends are having, the sound design for this film is actually really well done. I really appreciated that as well. So if I remember correctly, when I was reading the notes for this particular film, I think the filmmaker MC Cruz Issoai, she had already had her daughter, and she had created this film while her daughter was taking a nap with her mother. So it's actually kind of cool hearing some of the background stories as well with some of these filmmakers. And it just adds another dimension and flavor to the film when you're able to hear those backstories. But yeah, Caracol Inc. is another one of those films from the NUIT BLANCHE Festival that I really liked.
I got it.
Okay, repeat it to me.
Yes, boss. From the first
Corridor.
right. From the first corridor, take a right.
Left!
Right. I said right because never mind.
So the next film in this block that I really enjoyed was a short comedy called Relieved. This was directed by Varun Guru. He also co-wrote the script with Leon Quinn. And yeah, this film was hilarious. And I think the two of them, Varun and Leon, I think they're the main two actors in the film too. But essentially, it is about a mob boss. He's talking to a hitman and he's asking him all these. I'm not going to give away anything in this short. It is hilarious. Within the first 30 seconds, this film got to me. And I think this film is maybe only 5 minutes long. But within the first 30 seconds, it got me hook, line, and sinker. I was laughing my ass off. This was one of the funniest scripts. This is one of the best executions in terms of comedy out of all the movies I saw that were part of NUIT BLANCHE. I just think that Varun and Leon have a lot of talent, not just writing, but just understanding the timing of comedy and understanding how, you have to get certain punchlines in, a certain way, and just kind of understanding the beats and everything like that. So I really appreciated that. It seemed like the filmmakers here really understood what they were trying to do. But that's all I'm going to say about Relieved. If you're able to find this film, please do, because these guys are super talented and they deserve as much love as possible. They are hilarious.
Who are you? Oh, Linda.
So we go from hilarious comedy to absolutely disturbing horror. The next film that I really enjoyed that was part of NUIT BLANCHE is short, The Woman Who Wears Black. And this was directed by Travell Simpson. But this is about a couple who go on a getaway trip to revive their marriage, but there are dark forces at play. There are things that are certainly wrong with this marriage. It does have to do with a little bit of domestic abuse and manipulation and everything like that. But then there is a horror element that comes in. There's some possessions and everything like that. Now, Travell Simpson, as a horror director, definitely knows what he is doing. He is great at creating mood and tension and atmosphere, especially between the main leads, the husband and the wife. And, getting the woman in black, that malevolent spirit that is part of this film. The makeup effects, the creature effects, I really think were well done. We have to think with all of these short films, they're all working on a minuscule, minimal budget. So they're really working with the best that they can. So whenever I find a film like this that is able to really utilize everything that they have in terms of their budget and the creativity and using that creativity well, I really have to applaud that. And I believe Travell Simpson and his team that work together to create this atmospheric, tension-filled, scary at times, and truly disturbing film. I really have to applaud the effort. But yeah, The Woman in Black was just a nice little amuse-bouche of a horror film. I really did enjoy it. Now, the next film that I really liked, and it is probably also the most disturbing of all of the films, is One More Time. And this was another film that was directed by Travell Simpson. And just like The Woman Who Wears Black, this is another film that is built on tension and mood and acting, especially in this particular film. The actor who plays the lead in One More Time gives an absolutely chilling performance. He is someone who is clearly mentally disturbed. This guy is clearly a sexual predator, a sexual deviant, and the film tries to explore his headspace. And as a film that really explores those deep, dark recesses of the mind, I really believe that Travell Simpson does such a great job of capturing that. We get moments of just eerie silence and just strange calm before something really shocking hits us on the screen. And again, I have to apply, I can't remember the name of the lead actor, but he was outstanding. He gave one of my favorite performances out of all of the films that were part of this. But yeah, this was just another great tension-filled, mood-filled film, and I really, really applauded it.
My digital boyfriend. My digital boyfriend.
The next film I really enjoyed was a short called My Digital Boyfriend. This is written and directed by Marissa Bondi and Lauren Eden also took up the reins of director. So essentially, this film follows a young woman, and she finds an app where she's able to create a boyfriend of her making. It's basically an AI chat. Things seem to be okay when things start out, and then things kind of snowball from there. We get into the whole essence of what AI is, what challenges do we have, especially when it comes to relationships. And so it's taking things like Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Afraid that had John Cho in terms of like AI, and turning it on its head when it comes to relationships. And I really enjoyed it. Now, the only thing that I have to say about the film was I wish the ending was a little bit different. I thought this film was going to really push it and go all the way, but it just got to a certain point and stopped. And for me, I guess as a horror fan, I wanted this movie to just go all the way into, full-bore horror territory. But I get what the filmmakers were trying to do, and I did still really enjoy this. I thought the acting was good. I thought the concept was great, especially when we're talking about this age of artificial intelligence and AI and how it has impacted our society, especially when it comes to things like relationships again. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was humorous and chilling at times, especially when we got to the ending. But I really wish the ending for this film just went full bore, and I would have really, really, really liked this. That would have ended up being one of my favorites. But as it is still one of my favorites of the festival.
Sir, I think we need to talk about what your plan is in regards to your son.
What do you mean my plan for my son?
Well, a young man, having seen what he saw, can suffer
from what?
Long-term effects.
Look, there's
Considering that we know that his mother's illness can often be hereditary and...
My son is nothing like his mother.
So the third film that Travell Simpson directed in the NUIT BLANCHE Festival is a film called Talk. And this, for me, was probably the most important film that was screened here. Talk has to do with a young black man who clearly has mental health issues and is going through a bout of suicidal ideations. Mental health is still sort of stigmatized in the black community, especially among Caribbeans and Caribbean men. We are told that, we have to be tough and strong. It's the whole, raise yourself up by your bootstrap, what you have to cry about kind of thing. So when it comes to getting to like black male sensitivity and black male mental illness, there is a lot that we still haven't scratched the surface on. And Talk really gets into that. And we have our main character having discussions with his younger self and going through all the traumatic events that he went through that brought him to the person that he is. I'm not going to fully engaged in terms of where this film goes, but it is truly important. I really feel the acting was great. I think the writing could have been a little bit more subtle. This was a little too on the nose in terms of what it was trying to say. But visually, again, Travell Simpson, I think, is probably the best of all the filmmakers. So he still does know what he's doing behind the camera. I just wish the script was a little bit tighter. But in terms of importance and in terms of what this film is trying to say about Black mental illness, this is a very, very powerful film, and this was definitely one of my all-time favorites that were part of this festival.
Steven, I love you, man, but I never pictured your bachelor party to be like this.
What just happened? Whoa, what are you doing?
Calling 911.
No, we should think about this first.
What we have next is a thriller, To Kill a Secret, and this was directed by Javon Borland. And this is one of those films that is like something happens and a group of people have to figure out how to deal with it, and everything sort of takes place in one location. Think of movies like The Loft or Cabin Fever. So we have a group of friends. One of them is getting married the next day, and a group of them, they're trying to convince them, well, really one is really trying to convince them to go out for the bachelor party and go out to a strip club, have fun with the boys, things like that. And the groom is like, I'm really not feeling it. I would just want to get married. And everyone's like, hey man, you're kind of boring. Let's watch. She's like, no, I want to spend time and get myself ready for my wedding tomorrow. So that's the setup for this film. And then things just go wrong when one of the individuals die when they try to set up a prank. And it goes wrong, and these gentlemen have to decide how they are going to deal with it. Are they going to call the police? Are they not going to call the police? Are they going to flee the scene? Who are they going to tell? Are they going to tell anyone? And then we have all of these moral quandaries, a lot of conflict between these characters. Some of them are pushing to break the law. Some of them are pushing to uphold the law and be like, no, this is wrong. We have to do something about this. And I really like the conflict between all of these characters. And I really feel that Javon Borland did a great job in terms of creating that tension, escalating the conflict, and coming up with a resolution that felt really earned. When the last scene of this film happens, I was like, yeah, I like it. And I really enjoyed this film. This was a really nice, tight thriller. I think it's only 15 minutes long, but they maximized every minute in this film, and I really, really appreciated that. But yeah, To Kill a Secret was definitely one of my favorites of the festival.
Will the Flower Power find out what Dr. Bronner has in store? Don't miss out on tomorrow's episode of the special 2-part cliffhanger. Meow.
Next time, can I play Lily Power?
I told you already. You don't look like Lily Power.
Julia doesn't look like Rose Power either, but she still plays her.
They have the same eye color. They don't even draw eyes like yours on that show.
So the next movie that I really, really enjoyed is a short called Joy. And this is written and directed by Haishi Zhang and follows a little girl. I think she's probably like 7 or 8, maybe. I don't even think she's even 10 years old yet. Played by Emma Zhao. And Emma Zhao gives one of my favorite performances. And like I said, I don't think she's even 10 yet. Whatever relationship that the director and Emma Zhao has works, because the director was able to pull out all of these great subtle emotions. You would think that watching this is just a child just kind of like doing their things, but if you actually look at Emma's eyes when certain things are happening, you can see thoughts processing, and you can clearly understand what she is thinking. So Emma Zhao plays a little girl named Joy, and she is having a hard time at school. She is struggling, but her friends aren't really friends, and it's sort of a tragedy. It's one of those things where we talk about how bigotry and racism are one of those things that are learned. And the film gets into incidents like when Joy are with her 3 white friends and they're trying to pretend to play a certain game and be certain characters, and Joy wants to be a certain character, And one of the friends is like, no, you can't. They don't even draw her eyes like you. And I'm just like, oh, wow, we are really going to get into the racism in this, aren't we? But we're not just getting into that, but the film also explores the cultural divide that Joy has to encounter with her parents when it comes to her struggles in school and how they have certain expectations of her. Again, that's sort of cultural. And then there are elements of this story that deals with domestic abuse and cultural self-hatred. And I believe that the filmmaker was really able to capture all of these moments. Again, seeing the world through the eyes of this young child and being to completely understand and empathize with everything she is going through. I feel that this film is a major accomplishment in this festival for really being able to capture that spirit. So Joy is definitely one of those films that I really, really enjoyed in this festival.
Yeah, I'm working like a kilo. When I'm done, there will be blood like films by Quentin Tarantino. I've been bagging up my money.
Finally, the last film in the Millennial X NUIT BLANCHE Film Festival that I really enjoyed was a comedy called Overcover, action comedy. And this is written, directed, produced, and edited by Sammy Osman. And this has to do with two police officers. They are undercover. They are with a drug dealer, and one of the undercover police officers just takes his role a little too seriously. And this film is hilarious. It really gets to the point of, what this movie is about in terms of, this one cop that goes over the edge. But the action is actually pretty decent. Sammy Osman is actually a really decent action director. We got a shootout that I thought was really well done. You were really able to follow along with the action, but also it was pretty humorous. He was able to capture a little bit of humor within the action. Honestly, that is something that is very hard to achieve. We're talking about things that like James Gunn is able to do when he's able to balance action and comedy, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, or maybe like the Suicide Squad. But yeah, Overcover is just one of those films that were part of the festival that was just a lot of fun. It's funny as hell. The action sequences are really well done. I just hope that Sammy Osman is able to parlay what he's taken with this film and is able to use it as a stepping stone into a great career. But yeah, those were some of the movies that were part of the Millennial X NUIT BLANCHE Film Festival that I really, really dug. And I'm hoping that next year I'll be able to be a part of this, and whether it's giving again trailer reactions and reviews or being part more internally of the festival itself. I'm hoping that they will have me. I think that everyone that is part of the festival is really cool. I like what this festival is doing, what it's about, trying to give voices to filmmakers of color and making sure that they are able to tell the stories that they are able to tell freely. Also, this is a filmmakers program that is open to older filmmakers. So, if you are someone that has been out of school for a while, you are still passionate about films, maybe life got in the way and now you just finally have a chance to go back and be creative, but then you find yourself that, oh my God, I'm in my mid-30s, how am I going to break in? I think this Millennial X program is definitely a way to go. So I definitely encourage you to check out their website. I will leave the link in the bottom of the description. But yeah, I really, really liked this festival. I love the movies. I love the message of the festival. And I just hope that it just continues and just becomes a stepping stone for some great filmmaking talent in the future. But those are my immediate thoughts and feelings on some of the short films that were part of the NUIT BLANCHE Film Festival as part of the Millennial X filmmaking program. What did you guys think of the festival? If you engaged, if you were there, if you are a filmmaker of any of these films, please let me know what you think about my thoughts on these films. But yeah, share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.